Welcome back. Will Worsham joins us for this week's Speaking Legal discussion. All right, Will, good to see you.
Good to be here.
Coming in.
All right, let's take a look at today's question. My wife and I are trying to work out our divorce. Well, that's good. We have mostly debt, though, in our house. There doesn't seem to be any fair way to divide that doesn't leave one or both of us with too much debt. How can we divide debt that is joint?
Yeah, it's a tough situation a lot of people find themselves in, particularly when they're trying to do it, what it sounds like is without a lawyer. They're trying to work all that out themselves. What you really have to do in this scenario is look at, first of all, is it marital debt or is it an individual debt? Of course, any debt acquired during the marriage for the purpose of supporting the marriage, even if only one spouse's name is on it, is considered marital debt. So even if just the husband has a credit card just in his name, if he was buying groceries or paying for household items or whatever with it, it's considered a joint marital debt and subject to division between the parties. But no, a lot of people find themselves in this situation because you think about a lot of times, well, we've got to divide our assets, you know, who gets this and who gets that. But sometimes the assets are so outweighed by the debt, all you have to do is split up the debt.
Yeah, that sounds normal.
So there's a situation here where you can have assignment of debt, you can have, you can try to divide it as fairly as you can, credit card versus credit cards, but there may have to be some consolidation loans or some things taken out in order to get the debt in one party's name or the other. Or there may just have to be part of the decree where one party is making the payments on those cards over time, and that is considered their debt as we go to divide it.
Right. Now, you're going to get people in there who say, okay, wait a minute. Now, if I'm paying for this debt of that, then I should get that. Now you're in a whole other kettle of fish.
Right, and there is that argument, and when that makes sense when you're talking about something that has a title and a loan against a title, so like a house or a car or a boat motor or a motorcycle or something like that. That makes a lot of sense. But if you want to say, well, that we bought that with this credit card and it's the sofa or whatever, then that doesn't really make sense when you do it like that. I guess theoretically, if it was with a store card, you know, a furniture store finance deal, maybe that makes a little bit of sense. But realistically, you're dividing the things and you're dividing the debt, and they really don't have any relationship to each other unless it is, like I said, tied by an instrument.
What about something like an arbiter?
Like have somebody come in and do that? Yeah, typically in a situation like this, we'd use more of a mediator, a non-binding scenario. But yeah, and that's a great solution to have a mediator do that. One thing I think it's important to note here, though, is even if you all agree that the debt is one party's responsibility or the other's party's responsibility, you cannot modify the agreement that you have with the lender. So that means if you have a joint account, a joint debt, and let's say the wife agrees, she's going to pay that debt. If she doesn't, the credit card company, the lender, has every right to come back and sue the husband for that debt. And he can throw up his hands and say, but she's supposed to pay it. And the credit card company says, no, we don't care.
Lender doesn't care, right.
What a mess.
Right. Now, the husband would then have a right to sue the wife for contribution. If he got sued and had to pay it and get that back, could go to court, get a contempt order because if she wasn't paying the debt as ordered by the decree. So there are some remedies, but yeah, it can be an absolute mess.
Would it be easier if they just, I mean, obviously contact a lawyer and then, I mean, and you decide, and that way, you know, they feel more obligated to pay
Well,
that.
the lawyer's not going to decide, but the lawyer's going to be able to contribute some good ideas to that scenario. So it could either be in the mediator context like Tom suggested, or both parties can get a lawyer and try to work it out. Yeah, then they don't have to fight it out, but at least got some lawyers on each side contributing some ideas about the best way to work this situation out.
And then you don't necessarily have to go through fighting process face to face. It can be the lawyers that go. Now, ultimately, can this end up in court where there's going to be a judge that makes the decision on everything? Yeah,
absolutely. It could end up that. It's going to end up in court just for a judge to bless the agreement if there is an agreement. But yeah, if y'all can't decide, then absolutely it goes in front of a judge and he looks at everything and he or she decides this is what I think is the best way to divide this debt, and the judge is going to make an order. So yeah, the judge will do it for you if you can't figure it out.
How rare is it that you see people that can actually do this by themselves without the help of a mediator or a lawyer?
You know, it kind of depends on the people. We only see people that come to seek our own assistance. There's a lot of people that file uncontested divorces, what are called pro se, that means without the assistance of an attorney. A lot of those get rejected. They file the paperwork, the judge reviews it, says this isn't right, I can't sign it, and it gets kicked back. A lot of times it goes through, it gets signed off on, and then 6 months to a year later you realize we didn't even think about this scenario and there's problems that come up. I can rarely think of a circumstance where it wouldn't have been better to spend at least a little bit of money up front and have a lawyer look over your filing. And we do that for as little as $495. We'll prepare all the documents for you.
Can you revisit a decision?
Some decisions you can, some decisions you cannot.
Right. Find an attorney.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. We have a really good one for you.
Yeah.
Will, nice
People want to talk to you, want some information, how do they find it?
Yeah, they can call our law firm at 417-863-9455. It's 863-WILL, W-I-L-L.
Yes.
Our website is...
Nice how it worked out then.
Yeah, okay. Or we're at willworshamlaw.com.
Yeah, and be sure and write in for a question if you have a question. Will would be happy to answer it on our show.
Thanks, Will.
Yep.
You bet.
Good to see you.
All right, we'll be back with more from the GOP race for governor when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the sofa that talks to the coffee table. This is the lamp that lights the chair, that holds the reader, that loves that chair. This is the house that Slumberland built. It's a good life.
Aaron Sachs and his whole team, they didn't treat me like I was just a client. They treated me like family.
They made me feel safe. They got me the settlement I deserved.
I always got the impression that they were on top of it. Like they knew exactly what was going on. They knew exactly what was going to happen, that everything was under control.
I didn't have